So in this session, what we'll be going through is we have all learned CSS, right? CSS is almost over. Now JavaScript is about to start for some of the batches. For some batches, already JavaScript is going on. So what our aim is that we know CSS, but if we try to practice some of the websites that we can see, let's say if I go to some search for some template, let's say HTML template. I search for like this HTML template. I get a lot of websites. HTML website template. Let me open 2-3 websites and let's see what they are doing. We know CSS, but the problem is when I open this kind of website and there's a live preview button, and I click on a live preview button, I can see the website, right? But this website looks so much tough. The CSS what we have learned till now, with that CSS, we are not able to create this. Why? That means we are lacking something. Somewhere we are missing something. We know CSS, we have learned so many properties. We know border, margin, padding, everything. But what is happening here? A lot of things are happening. This kind of menus are coming. See, this some circle is coming when I put my mouse over on these things. So many things are happening. Let us go to another template like that, just like that. Let me open this one. So what is happening here? Again, here you can see. So here that kind of extra things are not there, but this image is here, the text is here, these three things are placed here, how they are placed. Then this is the main page. This is having some boxes like this. When I put my mouse over this, something is happening. A lot of things are happening, and we have a side navbar, also sidebar. So in this website, the problem is different. That website we had some special effects which we are not able to do now. Again, this page is having some different kind of structure which we don't know how to create. We know only margin, border, padding. Now we are able to put some boxes, text, image. Only that we are able to do, right? So these kind of things, to achieve these kind of things, first we need to know what is this thing called. This is known as the layout of this page. What it is known as the layout of it. So to create this layout, we need to have some extra knowledge. That means some more properties will be there, which will help us to create this kind of things. We have learned display inline and display inline block, right? But you can create all these things using display inline and inline block. But again, the problem comes. Let's say we have this logo here. We have some buttons. The logo is bigger than the button. So when you try to create this using inline block, what happens? Something is moving up, something is moving down. A big size item is there, a small size item. It will be placed like this. They're not aligned. So again, that is a problem. So that means again, we need to have some more properties. So before inline and inline block, it was very tough. After you learned inline and inline block, things became a little bit easy. But again, many problems you will face. Okay. So in this session, what we'll be doing is we'll be discussing all the necessary properties and all theories, whatever is needed, or the knowledge that is needed to create a proper layout. Okay. In this layout, they are using different colors. That is different. Okay. Those are just images. You don't need to worry about them. But this layout, how they big image is placed on the right side, a small content is placed here, but they are not looking odd, right? Everything is aligned. How that is happening? So these kind of things we will try to cover in this session. Okay, we'll have more sessions, more and more new things we'll learn. Okay. So let us start with a small basic layout. what we can do here is, so let me create a file called index.html. Okay. So what we have is HTML. We have the head. We have the body. So till now, how were you writing the CSS? Where do you write the CSS? In the head, you are writing. So there are three ways to write CSS. First one is known as inline CSS. What do you mean by inline CSS? Inline means, sorry? In the text, how do you write? In the text, how do you write the styles? Let's say I have one HP. How do I apply style to this? Okay. So you have to say that we write inline styles using the style attribute inside an element. Okay, starting tag of an element. This is the method number one. Then, correct. Then what is the next method to apply style? We write styles in the head section inside the style element. This style is an element. This style is an attribute. And what is the third way? So there is another way which will help us to write the styles. But before that, we have to understand why a third way is needed. Whereas we are able to write here itself, no, why do I need to write there? So what is the problem when I have inline styles? What is the problem when I have inline styles? So if I want to apply 100 styles to an element, I have to write so many lines of code, and it will not look good for some other user when he sees the element. If this is H1, okay, it is H1, I understand, but what is all this, right? So for that, we went for the head method. In that is known as internal style sheet. That inside the style element, whatever we write, that things are known, that the whole thing is known as internal style sheet. Again, what happens? If I have lot of styles, the head section itself is this much big. Main body is not even starting. Yes. Yes. So that. Head. Yes. Yes, yes. So what we do is, when we write too much styles in the head section, the page becomes longer. So what we do is, we put all the styles in another file, and we can create a link for that file in this page. Okay. So whenever you create these kind of pages, you will not have 20 or 30 lines of CSS. You'll be having 300, 400 lines of code. Even I have seen some pages where they are having around 5,000 to 6,000 lines of CSS. Okay, those people who are using too much of styling, let's say this page will be having too much styles. Okay, so for that we need a lot of CSS properties. So for that, what we do is, we create another file where we put all the styles. Now let us see how do we do that. So from now onwards, what we will be doing, you are already familiar with inline and internal style sheet. Try to be familiar with that also. Okay, because that is the best practice in real time. Wherever you work, everywhere they will have a separate style sheet. Okay, so how do I do that? I remove the style element. I don't need this style element. I create a file named index.css. Whatever name you give, it should have the .css. That's it. Here, whatever I write, it will work. I can write here h1 other. That's it. Okay. I wrote this. I have the h1 here. but it will not work because this H1 doesn't know that it has to take the color from that page. We have not told this page that you have to go there and take the color from there, the property from there. So you have to link it here. So what we write here? Something like this. Link is an element, L-I-N-K. Link, REL is an attribute, REL is for the style sheet. Href should be the page. Sorry. This is a relative or relation. I forgot the thing. It is telling about what it is saying. The attribute means a relationship of the linked document to the current document. What is the relation of the linked sheet? What is the linked sheet? Index of HTML, index of CSS. What is the current element, current page? Index of HTML. So what is the relation? It is asking REL. So relation is, it is a style sheet. Okay. So in the href, we'll give the name of the file. So now they are inside the same folder, so I can directly write the file name index.css. If it is in another file, we have to use the dot slash that syntax. Two folders means dot slash like that. So that will be that is known as a relative path. Okay. Then now what is the next thing? The page is linked, the style is there. That means it should work, right? So I'll save. Now I have two files. So I'll be making changes on one file. Some other time I'll be making changes on the other file. So for that, I have to save both the files. We have a shortcut for that. What we do? Control K, we press, and then only S. It saves both the files together. Not only both the files, if you have 10 files open, Control K, you press, and then only S, not Control S. Control S will do only one file. So Control K and then only S. Okay. So now I will just reload this file. Where is this file? So how do you know where is this file? You just right click this, reveal in File Explorer, and you get this, double click, and the file is running. Can you see? The color is applied. Okay, fine. So this is about external. This is known as external style sheet. And whatever styles you write here, it will go. Just by double clicking the file. When I double click the file opens in the browser. Okay. Any HTML file can be run in the browser. And how do you open it in the browser? By double click. That's it. Yeah, that is also fine. But live server may give you some errors sometimes. That's why I'm not using it. So when you'll be using some images to show images, live server sometimes fails. Okay, fine. Now what is our next thing? So what we know till now, we know only about inline and inline block. That means we use inline block to create boxes and all those things, right? So let us see that once again, how we were creating it and what is the problem with inline block. We have a lot of new features, but the question is, why should we use them? If with inline block, we are able to create the whole page, we don't need those extra things, no? Isn't it? But we have to know the problem, where the problem is. When you know the problem, only then you will try to use the extra features. So let me have 3 divs, okay? 3 boxes. One div, 2 div, and another. I'll name those divs something. So I'll apply class equal to first, class equal to second, and class equal to third. Okay, fine. Now to these 3 boxes. So by default, what is div? What is the type of element? It is a block level element. Okay. So I'll name, I have another class, box space. So we can apply more than one class also. Do you know that to an element? Did you apply more than one class to an element till now? These are the things you have to know. Because when you work on a template, suppose someone already gave you the styles and you are not able to understand. Again, that is a bad thing, right? So whenever you get an element, it may have, in reality, we will have more than 5-6 classes on one element. So go to any website. Let's say I go to this template, this one. If I inspect this, I can see the elements are having so many classes. Can you see? This div is having clapped slide, space, clapped slide, visible, clapped slide, active. So many classes are there on one element. Okay, so that means we can add more than one class also. Okay. So what we do here? So the owner having the class box. So that box I'm applying common styles. Dot box. What do I apply? Display inline block, because this will make the div block element to inline block. Then what we need to apply? I'll apply one border 1px solid red. Then what we need some gap, otherwise they will stick to each other, right? 3 boxes. Can apply some margin, not padding. Padding will be inside the box, margin will be outside. If I don't apply the margin now, what will happen? 3 boxes will come side by side. Okay, so margin say 20 px. Okay, Control KS. I go to my file, check once, everything is fine, but there is no height and width. Did I apply any height and width? It will look like a line now, just 3 lines, but there are not even lines, it will come dots. So what I need to do is, so that's why I have kept the first, second, and third. What I'll do there is I'll apply different heights to the boxes. So I'll put a fixed width here. Width is, let's say, 100 px, and height I will apply separately. So dot first will have a height of 100 px. Dot second will have a height of 180 px, and dot third will have a height of 250. Okay, now let us see how those boxes are looking like. So where is our file? This is our file. Reload, and we have these 3 boxes. Okay, so in reality, what will happen is when we create this kind of navbars, or let me have a different kind of navbar. This navbar. As I told you, this logo is having different height. The button is having less height. Okay, so something is having more height, something is having less height. What happens at that point? We get something like this. They are not in the middle. We can have a main box here. These 3 things I put it inside a box. Because navbar is nothing but a rectangular box inside which we put some things. But those some things are having different heights. Then how does it look like? So this div, I'll make it as nav, and have border 1 px. Okay, this is what will happen when you create a navbar. What will happen? Some image is there, some logo is there, some text is there. So they are looking like this. But I want everything in the middle now of the navbar. If you see that previous navbar, this navbar is having everything aligned in the middle. This button is again bigger than these buttons, but still it is coming in the middle. So using inline block, we are able to place things side by side, but we are not able to align the things. Okay, so there are these kind of problems which you will face while using inline block. So again, you have to write a lot of things. Okay, instead of doing that, we have better place. Again, that inline block, you will face problem in this banner. main panel. What is happening here? We have a big image on the right side, and we have only content which is very small. So if I just apply inline block, what will happen? It will come down. It will be at this level, at the level of the right side image. It will not be in the center. So that's why we will follow a better approach that is known as Flexbox. Okay, Flexbox will help us to create creative layouts. Okay, very beautiful creative layouts without any problems. It has directly some things, some properties. Yes, we can use vertical align center. Again, the problem is vertical align center. If you apply, again, you have to apply it to each element. Okay. So when you actually vertical align center is a property which I don't want to introduce now, because what will happen? Again, you will spend more time on vertical align center. Again, I have to tell you why vertical align center is bad. And then we will move on to flex. So why to waste so much time to go to flex, right? Directly we should learn the flex. That's why I am not teaching that vertical. So problem is when we have two elements, height of different heights, we need to apply inline block, that is fine. And then I have to apply vertical align center to this one also, vertical align center to this one also. Why to again write too much styles? Two styles we have to write, right? So instead of that, we'll be having this, going to this flex layout. Now let us see. Now what I'll do, I'll use the same layout now, and I'll change the styles. So what is the parent of this? These elements are known as siblings. What is the parent of these siblings? What is the class of the div? Nav. Nav is the parent. Okay. So on the nav, what I'll do is I'll apply a border. Let the border be there. No problem. I'll apply a property called the display flex. Okay. And then what I want to do, I want to align everything in the center, right? So I'll have another property. Where am I writing the display flex? Remember that. Where am I apply, on which element I am applying the display flex? Parent. Now it is nav. In your application, it may be something else, right? So where I am applying? Parent. It should always be applied to the parent, not on the child, never on the child. Child, if we apply it to the child, it will affect its children, not on the parent or that element. Okay. So parent, I applied display flex. On the parent on itself, I'll apply another property that is known as align items. Do you know about flex till now? Okay. Align items, colon, center. 2 lines on the parent, that's over. If you use inline block, what will happen? You have to apply inline block too. Okay, now let me remove these things. Inline block, I'll remove. Okay, remaining height which will be there. Here, what was happening when I apply inline block to this box class? That means that inline block is applied to 3 elements. Box is there on 3 elements, right? So it is applied to 3 elements. So if you have 10 elements, you have to apply 10 display inline block, and then you have to apply vertical align to again each of them to align them in the center. So what I'm doing now, I am writing only 2 lines, display flex and align item center on the parent. That's it. Save, go to the page and reload. What happened? Everything is now aligned in the center. This is having big height, so it is occupying big height, but actually everything is in the center. Okay, so this is a better way to create layouts or to handle the alignment in CSS. Okay, so whether it is nav bar, whether it is this what kind of pages we are seeing. So this page, let's say here, what is happening? We have some text here, we have some text here. They're not applying the vertical align center, can you see? But they're applying the inline display flex. That's why they are placed side by side. Okay, now here to achieve this kind of thing, what do I do? So there is something I have applied align item center, right? Here, what is happening? Both the things are not at the center. Where? Sticking to the top, actually. Both the things are sticking to the top line. Okay, they are not coming down or they are not in the center. If they are in the center, then we should have come little bit down. No? How everything is taking to the top. So instead of align items center, I'll write flex start. Okay. Oh, FLEX. Let's start. Now see what will happen. Everything went to the top. And then flex end means everything to the bottom. So this way, it helps us in so many, it is giving us so many ways to do the things. But if we don't use flex, we have to write a lot of styles. We have to change the position, this, that, many things. Okay. Now, so that means we have come to know that we have come to conclusion that flex is a better way. Now, what else can be done? Let me apply everything as center now. Okay, that is fine. Now, again in the navbar, we have some other things. Let's say this navbar. What is happening here? This text is moving to that side. How that is moving to that side? Sorry. Aligned right, but aligned right you will apply on text aligned right, you will apply on one text, right? Here you can't keep on applying to everyone, isn't it? Or to the box. It may not look feasible. So some people what they do, they apply some margin right, and then it automatically moves to that side. But again, how do you know how much gap you need? We don't know, right? It may be 100 px, it may be 500 px, it may be anything. So what we can do is that solution also Flex is giving us. Okay, Flex is giving us all the solution of any kind of layout actually. That's why Flex is better. Okay, now let's see. Here, along with the align item center, we have another property called justify content. Okay, now don't think about this align item center. It is set at center. Let it be there. So justify content. If I don't apply the default value is flex start. So it will be flex start means justify content, flex start means left side. Okay. Now see, justify content, flex start means left side. That means flex end means right side. So let me apply flex end. We have already seen it on the right side, right? We have already seen it on the right side. So that's our place which is here. So what happened? It came to the right side. Then in the middle, justify content, center. To center an element without flex, what you have to do? You have to apply margin auto to left and right. A lot of things you have to do. Okay. So, but here what I'm doing, I'm applying only display flex and justify content center. This is extra. I don't need this actually. To center an element, I don't need align items. Okay. Align items and justify content. Align items is for vertically aligning the items. What is the align items doing? Whether we want to go to top, whether I want to bottom, or whether I want to stay in the middle. That vertical alignment is done by align items. Justify content is horizontal, left, right, middle. Okay, some more things are there, but that is the answer of this question. What he asked: difference between align items and justify content. Align items is for vertical alignment. Justify content is for horizontal. But again, these two things will have. So it applies when the flex direction is row. Yes, when the flex direction is column, these two things will reverse. When the flex direction, so there is another property flex direction. I'm not discussing you not to confuse you now. So well, here the flex direction is by default row. That's why it is in the. What is row and column? Row is horizontal. So we are placing our items in horizontal manner, right? So this is known as flex direction row. So if we apply the flex direction as column, these items will not come this way. How it will come? Vertically. Item 1, item 2, item 3. box 1, box 2, box 3, first, second, third. At that point, this align items and justify content behavior will reverse. Now align items is doing vertical alignment. At that point, align items will do horizontal alignment. So whether it is the flex direction is row or column, both these properties will be there also. Their align items will behave like it will be used for horizontal alignment, and justify content will be used for vertical alignment in the flex direction. So I don't want to confuse you. That's why I was not talking about that flex direction topic. Okay, but someone asked, so I explained. We'll see that because we already have the Flex CSS Flexbox video. If you go through that, I've explained everything in detail, every property of the Flexbox. Okay, that is around 2-hour video maybe. It is already in the channel. Okay, 1 hour and after 20 minutes, maybe one template practice. At the end, some template practice is there. Okay, fine. So here I'm not supposed to explain everything about Flexbox. Okay, I have a lot of other things which we need to create the layout of the page. We'll discuss those things. Okay, if I keep on explaining Flexbox, you will not learn again how to create a layout. What is our aim? We have to create a website with so many styles, isn't it? Okay, fine. Now what is our next thing? So I have shown you that the justify content the center. Did we see? We didn't see. Okay, we have seen. Justify content center is putting it in the middle. Flex start is there, flex end is there. Okay. Now, but this justify content is giving us more properties. Let us see. So what I'll do, I'll remove this margin. Okay, we have some margin, right? If I remove this margin, what will happen of the boxes? They will stick to each other. See this. They are sticking to each other. If I apply flex start now, that all the 3 boxes will stick to the start. Flex end means everything will come to the end. Okay, fine. Now what more this justify content is giving us? So to create spaces between these boxes, I was using margin. But Flexbox is also giving that thing also. You don't need to apply margin on your own. I should apply 20 or 30. Which one will look nice? I don't know, right? According to the width of the parent box, I don't know how much gap should be there. By doing some math calculation, I can find out, okay, the width is this much, box width is this much. So I'll divide the remaining space by 3 and I'll get some margin. So, but that is not, so what we can do here is, so instead of placing here justify content center, so let's say I want the boxes in this manner, 1, 2, 3. An equal space would be in between. In between, I want some equal space. So I have something called space between. Justify content, space between. That means where the space will be applied? Between. The name itself it is saying between the boxes, not around the boxes, between. See, we got space between the boxes, and it is equally having the gap. I don't need to set the margin. Okay, then I have another thing called space around. What will happen there? This box is sticking to the box, but in real time, we don't create layout like this. We always have some box space between the parent and the inner box, isn't it? So for that, what I can use, I have something called space around. When I apply this, what will happen? We got space from outside also, we got space from inside also. So this is looking nice. But if you observe carefully, here what is happening is this gap is half of this gap. That means this inner gaps are double of the outer gaps. What is happening actually? This box is having this much gap here, this much gap there also. And it is getting adding up to that gap of the second box. That's why that is becoming double in between. Okay. So you can even minimize that. So for that we have another value of space evenly. What is the meaning of even? Even space means equal space. So if I apply space evenly, I'll get something like this. Now all the gaps are totally. So this level of layout design Flex is giving us. Then why should we go for inline block and those things? No need. Okay. So if you properly inspect, how do you inspect? Right click, inspect. Any professional website, if you inspect, you'll see that everyone is using the Flexbox layout. Okay. No one is going for inline block, this, that, vertical align, all those things. No one is doing. Why to do that? When we have directly the ways to do that. Okay, fine. So this is one. Sorry. Yes, yes. So let's say what is happening in this one? In between, we are having less space, but we are having a big space here. So what they are doing? This fourth box is a flex box. Parent is flex, and we are having two children. First children is this. Second children is that whole thing. Okay, first child is this. Second child is that whole thing. That any box, and second child is that whole thing, and they are applying space between. So what happened? The space is created in between, and that whole thing moves to that side. Then they apply little bit margin to each element. So that's why they are getting that finger. You just like you said. Okay, we'll see that. We'll try to create that. Okay. Fine. Then what else do we need? So if you just see this website, in this website, a lot of things are happening. So today we'll just try to create little part of this. I don't want to create this part. Actually, I want to explain you what are the things that we need to create this first part. Let's not create a big website, but let us try to understand what are the things we need to create only this part. Because if you try to create this whole website, you will be stuck in this navbar only for whole day. Why it is not happening, why it is not happening. So here a lot of things are going on. See, first thing is the navbar is looking like it is floating. It is not on the page, it is on floating on the page. It's looking like that, right? That is one thing we have to learn. Then this layout, flex. The flex thing I have already explained now. So we'll try to use the flex to create this thing. Floating thing we need to learn. Then when I'm scrolling, it is moving to the top and getting fixed. Changing the color. Okay, color we'll see that because here actually some animations are added. I'm not going to discuss animation in this session. In the next session, I'll be discussing about animation. Okay, so forget about that. But what is happening when I scroll? It is going to the top. Page is scrolling, but navbar is not scrolling. Okay, so how to do it? That is one thing. Floating is one thing, and then flex is one thing. So we will have to learn these things. If we don't know these things, how will you create this website? If I tell you to create this website, you can't create that, right? So we need those things. Okay, fine. Now we have seen how inline block is used and how flex is better than inline. That is over. Now let us move on to the next topic. The next topic is something called position. Have you heard about CSS positions? Not heard, right? So we'll discuss that now. So let me have okay. Let me have one box. What is that box? That is nav. Only one box is there. And okay, let this styles be there. Nav on the nav and apply some item width. Height is 100 px and width is 200. Okay. So how does it look like? Look like this. a simple box. Now, if using CSS, we can actually change the position of this box without applying margin padding. Margin padding is there, we know. If I apply margin right, it will move to the margin left. If I apply, it will move little bit to the right. That is okay. But we have some position properties. So here what is happening? This element is having position static by default. There's a property called position. So if I apply position static, nothing will happen. Why? Because that is already applied by default. Okay. Now we have some other property. Now what is the next property I want to show? That is known as position relative. What will happen there? Let's see. So if I apply position relative, do you see any changes? No. So position relative is actually applied, but it is expecting some other values also. It is waiting for those values, but it is not getting. So what I'll do, I want to move it 50 pixels from the left side. From the left side. Okay, from the left side means it will move to the right. So I write here left 50 px. Okay, save it, go to the browser, reload. Okay, now I want 100 pixels from the top. That means it will move to bottom, little bit down. Top 100 px. Okay, these two things will only work in the presence of position relative. That means not everywhere, but in this case, what is happening? This two things are working only because position relative is there. If I remove this position relative, nothing will work. Okay, so position relative will always expect some position values, left, top, something like that. Okay, so now if I remove all these things, what about the right and all? Are those applied? It is not applied. Why? Because the box needs to be moved from this side. So how do I apply that? Okay, we'll see that in real-time scenarios. We'll see that you can apply right also. So when I apply right 0, it moves to that part. But here the size is small. We are not having gap this side. If we apply more gap this side and apply right 0, then it will stick there. Okay, fine. So the most primary position values that we'll use with position relative is top and left. Because what happens? It starts from 0, 0 position. In graph, we have seen 0, 0, right? In maths and all. 0, 0 means this point. So here the point is, this one is the 0, 0. Okay. Top and left. Okay. So it starts from there. So when whatever value you apply, it moves from that position. Okay. Fine. That is one position. Then we have something called position relative. Relative after relative, we have position absolute. Okay. So let me first apply position absolute. Does it work? No, it is not working. Now, if I apply some left 100 px, it's working fine. Then what is the difference? Did you see any difference between relative and absolute? No. So we have to know that, learn that. What is the difference? So difference is position absolute is used for nested elements. Let me show you. I have this nav. Let me have a parent for this nav. Div. Okay. Inside this div, I'll have the nav. Now, so this div, I have to apply some class. I'll name it as parent. Parent is having a child which is having the name nav. Okay. So now, if I apply position, what is this element? Parent or child? Child? nav is the child. So position relative I applied, and I applied left 100 px. Okay. Okay. Let me have the border for that one also. For the parent, I didn't have any border. So dot parent and border, I have 1px solid red. And this one I'll put it as child. For the child, I'll put it as black. Okay. And did I apply any position? Let's not apply anything. And let us see how they are. Okay. This is fine. Red is the parent. Inside the red, we have a black box. Okay. Now, when I apply position relative to the child and I apply top 200, let's say, let me apply only top 10 px. What happened? It is coming out of the parent. Overlapping, it is looking like overlapping, but if I apply more values, now what is happening? It's totally coming out of its parent. Because when I apply position relative, it moves relatives to the relative to the body of the document. The whole body, it will start from 0, 0, and it will move according to that. It doesn't care about its parent. Okay, that is the problem with relative. That is not a problem, but when we don't have a parent, we will use the position relative. But suppose this box is inside the red box, and I want to move the black box inside the red box only, not outside the red box. Then I need the position absolute. Okay, now let us see. Let me have a height of 800 px for the parent. I have height like this. Okay, let me reduce it a little bit. 7. Okay, you can see it is coming in the full screen. And this box type is having relative, right? That means if I move it top 800 px, it will move out of the box. It is moving out of the box, right? And it is not even telling us what to do. So if I apply position absolute, what will happen? It will not go out of the box. It may go out of the box, but when I apply absolute, it will move with respect to its parent. Okay, it will not move with respect to the body. Okay, now see. Top 30 px, if I apply with absolute, it is moving 30 px from its parent, not from the body. But can we see that? Let me have something like this. On the parent, let me have a margin top 50 px. So what is happening now? On the parent, when I applied margin top 50 px, now see, now actually the absolute is not working. Why? For the absolute to work, what did I say? Absolute will move the object with respect to its parent, but absolute will not work alone. If you apply absolute to a child element, the parent element must have relative position in its styles. Okay, so let me now apply position relative to its parent. Now see what we are able to see. So position relative, and let me apply some top as well. Top 50 px. Now see what will happen. Top, let me have something like 300 px. Now see what happened. Oh, sorry, not 300 px. Position relative top. Wait, not working. Okay, leave it. How much it was working? Okay. So now see, the box is little bit having gap from the top, but this child is now not relative to the body. How do I show you that? If I apply to the child position absolute at top 10 px, so if I don't apply anything, where it will be there? It will be at the top. Okay. Now if I apply top 10 px, it is how it is moving. See, from the parent only, not from the body. Body is starting much more higher than the parent, isn't it? So this position absolute is helping us to position absolute is helping us position an element according to its parent. Okay, this kind of things where we can see. Have you seen Facebook or WhatsApp notifications? We have one notification dot in our apps. We have one notification dot. How is that dot placed? It is using that position property. Because if I apply one element inside one element, inside a dot inside an element, it will be there inside the box, right? So how to put it? Like half outside. They put the dot half outside, right? When the notification comes. So that can be done using positions. Okay. So we'll see that when we create a template which is having notifications at the top, we'll see how to do that. Are any of these pages having notifications? No. Okay, we'll see. But this is one of the problems. Now one more thing we need to see is how is this thing floating? Moving to the top, sticking to the top is different. That is secondary thing. But at this point, can you see the box is floating? It is not on the page. It is we have one background image and it is floating on top. So how that thing is done? So for that we have a property called Z index. Have you heard about Z index? No. And okay, what does it do? You don't know. So Z index is something which will help us to make things come up or come down, go down. Okay. By default, everything will have a Z index of 0. Okay. 0 means that level. So you have to think in 3D. In maths, we had 3D, right? We have x-axis, y-axis, but the z-axis goes like this, isn't it? So this is 0. Plus 1 means little bit up. Minus 1 means little bit behind. So the same thing happens with z index. That's why that is known as z index. Z-axis, x-axis, y-axis, or x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Z-axis will be coming out or going in. Okay. So here what is happening? If the background is having 0 level, that navbar is having level 1. That's why it is coming up. Okay. So we have to know how to apply the Z index. So here if I apply Z index 1, it will come up. So let me have something like this. How do I show that? Okay. Let us have some boxes. No, no problem. So we'll first let us place 3 boxes on top of each other. How do you place 3 boxes on top of each other? Because if I create boxes, they will be placed side by side. They will not come on top of each other. What can I do? I can use position relative and then move them to on top of one another. Let us see how to do that. Okay. So inside the body, I have this thing. Okay. So let me have 3 boxes. What we did earlier, okay, that was different. So div. So what were the classes we applied last time? Class equal to box first, class equal to box second, and third one is class equal to box third. Okay, and I'll make them they're having different heights. Okay, fine. Width is 100 px, border 1 px also. I'll remove the border from these boxes, and I'll have different colors for the boxes. So how do you apply background color? Background color red, background color, let's say blue, and background color yellow. Okay, they are just normal divs and they are not having any flex and all. Okay, they are just boxes. Their parent is not having display flex, no, so nothing will be applied. So they will look like this. 3 boxes are there. Okay, now how do I move this blue box to that position? The red box is at position, let's say I apply position relative to all of them. Okay, I'll apply position relative to all of them. What will happen? So common style I will write here position relative, but position relative will not work. Why? Because relative is expecting top left some value. I'm not applying, so it is not getting anything. Now, how do I move this blue to that top level? Top 0. If I apply top 0, what will happen? That is the default value. So red box is having top 0, left 0 by default. That's why it is at the top. It is at 0, 0 position. So I have to send everything to 0, 0 position. Now, let me not touch the yellow box. Let me just blue box. Let us see. So on the blue box, what I will do, I'll apply top 0. And let's see what happens. Position relative, I applied. Okay, did I not save this? Box first, second, third. Okay. Height 180 px. Background color is this. Top 0 px. And the left 0 px. Do I have any parent for these boxes? No. Box first, box second, box third. Okay. Box is having position relative. So all are having position relative. And then background color is this. Top I will find this. Okay. So this is having position relative. Left 30 px. Should move the box. Yes, it is moving. Ah. If I apply top to this one, then also it will work. It is going down. Can you see? It is overlapping with the blue. Okay, fine. Okay, so the red box is stopping the blue box from going. Okay, okay. So what I can do then? That's where we need the Z index actually. So how do I show you the Z index? Okay, let me show you. So let me move the red box to the level of yellow blue box. So for that, what do I need to do? If I remove this top, how much below I have to bring it? The red box. What is the height of the red box? 100 px. Height is 100. If I move it 100 px down, it will go there, right? Okay. So what will happen if I apply absolute on this? What happened now? When I applied position absolute and no top, bottom, left, right. What happened? Everything went to 0, 0 position. As I told you, when we have absolute and when we don't have a parent with position relative, it takes the relative to the body, whole body. So when I apply position relative to position absolute to all of them, what happens? Everything moved to that position. So What is there? One red box is there. On top of that, a blue box is there. On top of that, yellow box is there. So all are hidden. Red and blue are below the yellow. So that's why everything is hidden. Okay. Now let us see how to use the Z index. So all the three are at 0 level actually. Okay. Let me now change the Z index of the red box. What is the Z index of red box now? Everything is 0. I said red box is also 0, blue box is also 0, yellow box is also 0. But the problem is I wrote the first red box first, then I wrote second blue, then I wrote yellow. That's why it came in this manner. Okay. Now let me change the Z index of red box. Z index 1. What will happen now? The red came on top. Whereas blue and yellow are at 0 only. They are still at 0. If I apply Z index of 1 to both red and blue, what will happen? Which one will come on top? Blue one, because the red is already, how I am writing here, first, second, third. Which one I am writing first? Red. It will always be below. Blue came, then yellow came. If I apply, all are having Z index 0. So which one is showing us? Yellow. I am able to see. But when I apply Z index 1, 1 to all of them, again yellow will come. If I apply 1, if I apply 100 to all of them, again yellow will come. But when I apply 1 to red and blue, blue will come because blue is the latest one. Okay. So now see, I apply Z index of 99 to red. The other box will never come to top. Always red will be at the top. Okay. Now red is floating. Blue is little bit floating. Yellow is not floating. Yellow is having Z index 0. Z index 0 means it is on the document on this level. Blue is having Z index 1. That means it is little bit here. Red is having Z index 99. It is at this level. They can't overlap the red now at any cost. So if I want blue to come above red, what Z index I have to apply? Yellow is at 0, blue is at 1, red is at 99. So this blue, what value I have to apply to come here? 99 is this level. We have to, if I put 99, then also it will come because blue is at second after the red. It will come, definitely come above red only. But if theoretically, what you should do? You have to apply something which is more than 99. You apply 100 to blue. Blue will come on top. Okay. So this is how Z index will work. So now if I want to bring the yellow, then so Z index, anything greater than 100, right? I'll put 9999999. Okay, this is how Z index. Now, that of the thing is, in real time, we don't have 3-4 layers of things, never. Mostly, we don't create something like that. Where we need the Z index, we need Z index in this kind of things. Where the document is one layer, the header is another. So in the Z index, what we do? We put 1, 2, 3, something like that. But again, suppose on your page you have another element which also you want to float. Then what will happen? You will apply there Z index 1. And you are applying here also Z index 1. This may again create some problem. So for that, what we do is we directly apply a big Z index to the element. We don't apply Z index 1, we directly apply Z index 999. So it will never No one can come above it. Okay, so this is how we use the Z index. So in this, if I inspect this box, just see what is happening in this box. This is the header. What is the Z index? You can see here 997. It is giving a big number so that no one can come above it. Okay, they are not. They could have written 1 also. If I write 1, then also it is working. If I apply 0, you can see it gone because it went below the image. Okay, so they could have written 1 also. 1 is also giving us the output, but for safety purpose, always give a bigger number. So normally they write 999, 9999, 99999, something like that. Okay, this is how we use the Z. Okay. Now what else is left? We didn't learn this. How on scroll it is going up. On scroll, the head that menu bar, nav bar, that floating item became fixed item. It became a fixed item, and we are scrolling. The page is scrolling, but header is not scrolling. How that thing is happening? So for that, we need another position property. Now see here. It's okay. So what is happening here? When we are applying this Z index, we must apply the position absolute here. Some position like relative, absolute, something should be there. Otherwise, that Z index. So if I remove the position absolute, just see here. I remove the position absolute. What happened? It all came back to its normal. So that means Z index will not work without a position value. Okay, it may be absolute. So till now we have seen only absolute. Think in your mind that okay, if I want Z index some value, I want Z index, I must put position absolute. Okay, fine. That is one thing. Now we have to think about that sticking nav bar. It is sticking to the top. So for that we have another position called the fixed and sticky. Two more things we need to learn. Okay, this is known as sticky, but before going to sticky, let us learn what is fixed. Okay, so what I'll do. So for fixed and sticky, we need a big page so that scroll is there. In our page, it is not having scroll. Let me have some things. Okay. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll remove this position absolute. I'll remove all these Z index things. These are not needed. And let me have more boxes. Or yeah, that's fine. So height I'll increase it 500, 800, and 250. Let it be there. Okay, fine. Now this page is scrollable. Okay. Now I want to have another box at the top, which I want to fix it there. Even if I scroll, it should not move. What to do? So let me have before all these things, before all these boxes, let me have a long box. Okay. Div. Inside that div, I'll have one H1. Hello. And default. And in this div, I'll apply some class. So that is, let's say, the header. Okay. Header is the class, and on this header, I'll apply some styles. The header, what styles I want to apply? I want to apply one background color. Background color is, let's say, this aqua color, and I'll have some padding of 20 px on all sides. Oh, fine. I'm having a header, and what should happen when I scroll? Only this red, blue, and yellow box should scroll, not our header. What is happening by default? The header is moving. So in this header, I'll apply something called position fixed. Okay. Reload. What happened? Something happened, right? So when I apply position fixed, it doesn't know what to do with the width. So I'll apply width also. How do I make it full length width? With 100%. It will take the 100% of its parent, 100% width of its parent. Save it, reload. Okay. But we have till now not seen what happens when on what we do on scroll. So let me scroll. Can we see? Box is moving, and now also we can see the header is like Z index. It is looking like that. Can you see? But in that gap, the boxes are going. Okay. So this is a very common style you need to create any kind of navbar. In all websites, you can see always the navbar is at the top only. When we scroll, it never goes up, isn't it? So we need the position fixed very badly. Okay. Now, position fixed is okay. Okay, fine. So position fixed is fine. But there are some situations where position fixed will not work. So let me show you. Position fix has some other uses also. So in the position fixed, I can even specify where do I want to fix it. Okay, where do I want to fix the box? Let me write here top 100 px. If I write like this, from the top 100 px at 100 px from the top, it will fix it there. It will not go. It will not. That is different. That is a different position. This is position fixed. It will fix it here, and scrolling will not move it. Okay. So we can see sometimes we have some chat boxes in some websites. We'll have some chat boxes, right? AI bot, something chat bot that doesn't move. It is fixed at the bottom corner. Okay. So let me remove this with 100 px. Okay. Now see. With 100% I have removed. Now it is a small box. Okay. Now what I will do, see. I'll put instead of top 50 px, I'll fix it where I want to fix it. Bottom right corner, just like a chat box. Okay. So bottom 0, right 0. From the bottom 0, from the right 0. Did it happen anything? Nothing happened. Oh. Where did I apply it? It should be here. Okay. By mistake, I wrote it there. See? Now, even if you scroll, nothing will happen. So if you have a chat box kind of thing, you can put it there. So anywhere you can place it. Any fixing can be done using this. Okay. Now, what was our default behavior was this one. This is the default behavior, and with 100% was the thing I want for navbars. So this is totally fine. There is no problem in this nav. This is what we will do in every website. But when you go to a company, they will say that no, design something like this, where it is not at the top in the beginning. Here, but when I scroll, only then it is fixing to the top. Then what to do? For that, we have something called position sticky. Okay, that is known as position sticky. So let us see what happens there. So I apply here position sticky, and what do I get here? Okay. So position sticky is there, but on scroll also it is moving. So we have to think about it. What is happening? So I have to tell where to stick. So top 0. Okay. Now you can see we are getting that behavior. What we wanted. We can apply some margin top as 30 pips. Let us see. Okay. The navbar is not exactly at the top. It is little bit below, but when I scroll, it is sticking to the top. This is known as position sticking. Okay. See, this is what is exactly happening here now. It is not exactly at the top. It is having some gap. That means, let's say 20 or 30 pf gap is there. Initially, that gap is there. But when I scroll, it is sticking to the. So this is what you need to create website. So what are the things we saw? We need flex. We need to know, have knowledge about flex layout. We need to have knowledge about positions, all positions. We need to have knowledge about the sticky Z index. Okay, to float the items. Okay, fine. But that is fine. So till now, what we have done, we can at least create this navbar. Okay. What about this kind of image? This is not an image. If you create image, you can't write something on top of it. Okay. Image is separate, text is separate. Either you have to use position to move the text to the image, something like that, and apply Z index. Only then it will work. But rather than that, we have some other ways to do that also. How to apply image as a background to something. How to do that? I have one page. To that whole page, I want to apply some background. What do I do? We know how to apply images, that is fine. But we don't know how to apply background. We know background color. So there is a background property, only background. Background image also you can apply. So that background image is actually part of background property. Background property contains a lot of things. Background image, background sizing, background cover, a lot of things. Okay, so let's see that thing. So what is your website having? Is it having any background? Nothing. What is the background of this whole page? White color is there. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. Let us apply some background. So where I will apply? I'll apply to the whole body. Okay. So to the body background only. Okay. Background, or we can go for background image also. So background image. So here we have to pass something called URL. URL of the image we want. If we have it in our folder, we can directly name that file abc.jpg. Or if it is some external web URL, you can put the URL here as a inside double quotes, inside quotes. Okay. So let me get some image from somewhere. Image. What do I get? I get this image, or I'll use this one. Right click, copy image address, and paste it here. Let's see if it is big or small. Okay, it's fine. That double quote, single quote, anytime, but quote should be there. Without quote, it will not understand what is happening. Okay. Save it and go to our browser. So I can close these things now. Reload. So what did I get? I'm getting a background for our image. But what do you notice? Repeated. Okay, it is getting repeated. So there is a property called background repeat. What should be the value of it? Background repeat? None. Okay, so I applied background image. Then I have background repeat. So many values it takes. No repeat, not none. No repeat. Background repeat. No repeat. So when I apply this, it is having only one image. Because the image size is small, it is having only one image. Now what we can do? We have other properties also. Background size, auto contain cover. I am telling it to cover the whole page. So what is happening? It is taking like this, but it is getting over. So what can be done? Background size, auto is the default. So it will do this one only. So what was the third property that we saw just now? Contain. So actually, because of this, some gaps are there, that's why it is happening, but normally that won't happen. You can set the image size or something, but this is how you do it. Okay. Background position. Okay. So if you apply background position, what will happen is the image will come to center. That is different from background size. Background size is I am telling it how much I want to see the image. But center is something different. If you observe what is happening here, the image is not at the center. It is little bit left side. If it is at the center, flowers will come in the middle. So that is background position. That is different. Okay. If I apply background position, I can set it to center, top, left, like that. Okay. So if I put it at center, it will bring it to the center. So it is bringing the center of the whole page. Okay. So, but you may need it sometimes. Background position also you may need it. But I'll go with this one. So this is enough for me just to show you, because I'm not taking a fixed image. I'm taking an image of different size. When you create your websites, when you work in a company, you will be given a fixed size. You have to use this size only. So that image, when you place it, it will always fit in your screen. Okay, no need to worry about it. Okay, fine. Then one more is there. Many more properties are there, but background clip, border box, content box. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, no need. So these are the things we'll be needing. Okay, background image, background image, background image. So this thing, what is happening here? We are having something like this. Now let us see. I have created. So let us end let us conclude today's class. So we don't have time to design all these things, but we have discussed all the things that we need to design. So I've already designed this part, upper part. Let us go through the styles, what we have applied there, what I have applied there. Okay. How the properties are working, we will see. Okay. Let us go to my file. Here I have a Bethany project. Let me close everything. Okay. And let me close this VS Code as well. Everything I'll close. I'll open only the file that I had created. So this is the file. And let's see what else we have used. Anything extra we have used? Anything new to be learned? Let us see. So where is this file? This is the file. And how does it look like? It is looking like this. So background repeat is happening. So we will remove that. That is not a problem. I had repeated the image to show you the scroll behavior. Otherwise, I can't show you the scroll behavior. No? I have put it like this. Okay, fine. So now let us see what styles we have applied. Here we can see index.html is there, index.css is there. What else is there? What is the other name? Reset.css. What is that reset.css? That reset.css, if you see, these things I have not written. Okay, if you go to Google and ask for reset.css, it will give you some file. You just copy the text and paste it. But the main question is, why do we need this? What is the purpose? That is the main question, right? Okay. So when you start creating a web page, what happens? If you observe carefully, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and then paragraph elements, they have some margins on top and bottom always. If I create one H1, it has some margin top and bottom, maybe bottom. Paragraphs are having margin top, bottom. Always these block level elements are having some margins. Div is not having, but other elements, all block level elements are having some margins. It is creating extra space in your page. You don't want that gap even then it is coming. So what you need to do? You have to apply margin 0 to that element. Okay, you created one H1, you saw extra gap is there, apply margin 0. Now, next you created one paragraph, again you saw, again there is extra space, again you apply margin 0 to the paragraph. Okay, done. Then you go to next section, there you wrote one H3. Again space is coming, again you are applying margin 0. So this way, how many H1s will be there, how many H2 will be there, how many paragraphs will be there in a big website? So many will be there. You can't go to each one and apply margin 0, margin 0, margin 0, right? Then font size. You have been given a task, and it is said that header should be, that means heading text should be 64px. Company gave you that instruction that it should be 64px. But H1 when I create, it is having around 26 or 32px. Some size is there, fixed size. H2 is having fixed size, H3 is having fixed size. So what you need to do now, you will go to that again, you have to change all the font sizes. Okay, if it is big, make it less, if it is less, make it big. So this uniformity is not there, non-uniformity is there. So what we do is we select all the elements like this, and we apply margin 0 to them, padding 0 to them, border 0 to them, font size 100%, that means 16px. Okay, vertical align baseline. So like this, lot of things are there which can be applied. UL, when we create UL, we get dots. Has sir shown you how to create navbar using inline block? In inline block, what we are doing, we apply list style type none to remove the dot, isn't it? So those things also they are including here, so that you don't need to write the styles again. Margin 0, you don't need to write. List style type none, you don't to write. Padding 0, you don't need to write. So lot of things. Table, in table what happens? We get double border. Again we apply border collapse. So those things also they are writing it here. So this whole file I didn't write. I just copied it from the Google. In Google you will get fixed reset.css files. These files are needed to create these kind of better websites, so that these websites can be used on desktop, laptop, everywhere, mobiles, everywhere. It should be uniform. So for that uniformity, we take this kind of styles. Okay, fine. So what we do, we just copy paste it here, and in the index.html, I just create a link for the reset.css. That's it. No need to think more about what we need to think about is the index.css only. Okay, fine. So here what I did, I just created little bit, nothing else. What I created one div, which is the navbar. So what is the div? This is the div. This navbar is having one, and main banner is something else. Forget about that. What is happening in the navbar? Let us see. Can I comment this main banner? Yes. Let us see what I have done here. So what is the thing I have done here? I have created one navbar which is having display flex property. Display flex and justify content between fixed to the top. These are just classes. I'm writing the CSS here. Fixed top means what? Position fixed, Z index 999, top 20px, left 0, right 0. From the top little bit 20px I have given gap, because after scrolling, okay, I have not applied sticky till now, so it will always fix there only. Okay, like that. So you have to know the flex structure. What I have done here. What I have done here, I have a display flex on the parent. This parent is having how many children? See this parent is having how many children? This is one child. This is one child. So two children are there. What are those two children? First one is the logo. Second one is the list item. Along with the button. Okay. See here. If I inspect this, I have this is the whole name bar. What is the whole name bar having? Two children. What are those two children? Logo is this one. And what is the next one? Whole thing along with the button. Okay. So whenever you create this kind of layout, you have to have one display flex parent. Inside that you have two children, logo and whole the other thing. What you want? Why that is put in the second? Because I want everything to the right. That whole thing I want in the right. That's why I'm putting it in one div. And this one is the first one. So in the first one, there is no styles. Okay. In the first one, there is no styles. Just some margin padding, text, color white, done. Nothing else. In the second one, lot of things will be there. In the second one also, again, I have applied display flex there. It is applying display flex from there. And align item center also, I'm applying from the styles. Okay. What does this contain? This contains only one UL and one button. So this nav part is having two things. One is the UL list item and the button. To this button, what I have done, I have applied display flex and I have applied some little bit margin. That's it, nothing else. Okay. So how did I move everything to the right side? Put this here and put them right side. Because of this justify content between, which is at the parent of both of the things. The main parent container is having display flex along with justify content space between. We have seen the space between, right? So that's how I have created it. Okay. Up to here, that is fine. And I have applied some width. What width did I apply? I have applied width 85%. Otherwise, it will be 100%. If I don't apply anything. Okay. Okay. I have applied. If I don't apply the width, it becomes 100%. But in our that template, we needed some little bit gap. So what I did, I applied with 85%. And margin auto. Can you see that margin auto there? See this margin 0 auto. What is the meaning of that? First value means top and bottom. Top and bottom 0. Second value means left and right. Left and right margin auto when I apply. If I remove that margin auto, it will move to this side because I have applied with 85%. It is only occupying 85%. When I apply the margin 0 auto, what is happening? It is getting equal margin from left and right. Automatically adjusting it according to the width of the browser. Okay, fine. That is done. And then background color white, border 1 px only. That is fine. Then what else have we done? After this, it is placed in the middle. But we have to apply that index part also to make it float. What do I do? So for that, I applied the first thing is I applied this image, that is the background image. I created another div and I applied background image. So what did I do here? Main banner is another div. So if I inspect it, I have nav deflux, which is the whole thing that I have created. After that, I created another div main banner. But if I don't apply this position, fixed Z index, all those things, what happens? It looks like this. After applying the image, you will get something like this. Okay. Now, what is the thing I want? I want to bring it up so that image will go down. Okay. I have to bring the nav bar up and push it down. So for that, I have to apply the Z index and a position fixed Z index, top 220 px, left 0, right 0. If I don't remove, apply left 0, right 0, it will look like this again. So I'm applying left 0, right 0. Right 0 is it needed? Yes, needed. Okay. If I remove left 0, it is going to that side. So center position will not work because there is no, we have top, left, right, and bottom only. There is no center in positioning. Okay. So you have to, nothing is there. Only 4 properties: top, left, bottom, and right. You have to adjust according to that. So that's why I have applied the right 0, left 0. So it will not touch any of them. Okay, fine. So these 3-4 things I had to add to bring it, change the position and bring it up. This position fixed is not needed to bring it up. Okay. But the problem is Z index will not work without that position, as I told you. Only Z index will not work. This top 20 is not mandatory. But to just make a copy of that website, I created top 20 px. That top, without the top 20 px also it is working. Okay. But to give that floating feeling, we have to have some gap at the top so that we can see that image is below. If I don't have this gap, you don't know the image is below or not. See, are you able to see? You are not able to see now. So when I put that top 20 px, what happens is we can clearly see that that nav bar is floating on top. Okay, so that's what I did. So when the moment I make the Z index 9999, what happened? This main banner move up to the below beneath that nav bar, and we are getting it. And in the main banner, what I did, I just applied a height 7000 px to create this scroll effect. If I don't apply the height 700, this page is not scrollable, so we can't see that. And even the image is not coming. So I applied height. So whatever height you want, let's say you want only 800 px. So you can apply here only 800 px like this, and that's enough. Okay, whatever height you want. And background, I have used only one property here. I have used background URL this. No repeat, nothing. Just to place the image, I have put it. Okay. But according to the use case, you will use background repeat, background position, background click, everything. Background sizing, all this. Okay, that's it. Go through this video and try to implement this on your own. I'm not showing you the code now. Okay. So according to what we have done now, what we have learned today, you can try to create something like it. It may not be exact copy of this, but at least a floating nav bar you should be able to do. Okay, using position and whatever nav bar you take. First, start with a small box. Are you able to make it floating? No problem. So here one more thing I have added. When I put my mouse, it is becoming green. Hover. You know hover? Yes. Yeah. That's it. Okay. That's it for the session. Try to create a small background like this and make a Figma within also analyze your design and study. So I can't help you regarding Figma and all other wireframes. Okay. I don't have much idea about that. You can Google it and get it. Okay. Okay, that's it. Try to create one floating number. So this way, what we have to do is we are able to create websites, but we are not able to create professional websites. So we have to pick up one by one. Today we learned floating navbar and background image. Next class we'll take another topic like that. So after 4 to 5 classes, we will have all the knowledge about all the elements of the professional website. So then we have to join everything and create a proper website. Okay, we'll even learn animations and all. So okay.